So first of all, let's just come into a regular standing posture, whatever feels good to you. Okay, standing posture. You can have your feet closer or further apart, just see how it feels. And we're going to begin with just releasing some different parts of our body, some key parts of the body. So we're going to bring the weight all the way over to one side. All of the weight standing up tall still through that side. Basically, that means that the other leg should be able to, move around quite easily off the ground. So we're going to bring the foot down, but we're going to bring the toe down, just the toe. And we're going to circle through that toe. And as you circle through that toe, see if you can let go of the whole leg and feel that circling, moving all the way out the leg and into the hip. Allow the hip to get involved too. So circling in one direction. So we're releasing the knee, the ankle and the hip all at the same time. Opposite direction. Just check your breathing pattern is natural and normal when you're doing this. Okay, and then just shift the weight over to the opposite side. All the way through that standing foot, nice and tall, right the way up through the crown of the head. The other foot can just lift off. We're going to come to the toe and we're going to circle through that side. Circling through that side. Seeing if we can get a sense of it moving all the way up into the hip. Natural breathing pattern. And we're starting to bring the awareness inside the body. We're starting to allow everything to arise and pass. Moving in the opposite direction. See if you can have nice, consistent circles that move all the way into the hip. Okay, and then coming back to your regular standing position, and this time we're going to bring our feet closer together, perhaps even touching. We're going to form the hands so that the thumb and the forefinger form like a bridge, and we take those and we place them over the knees, over the kneecaps, tops of the knees, and then we're going to circle the knees. Releasing the knees, seeing how much movement you can find here. This isn't a test on how flexible we are. This type of yoga is all about just seeing what we can find and being comfortable with that. When we're comfortable with that amount of movement, more can follow. Switching direction. Allow the rest of the body to be relaxed while we're doing this. Natural breathing. Good. Standing upright, feet further apart. Hands onto the hips, let's release the pelvis. So circling the pelvis. Seeing if you can isolate the movement as much as possible in the pelvis and just allow the rest of the body to follow. Awareness in the movement that we can get circling the pelvis and just allowing the rest of the body to follow from that movement. Natural breathing. Awareness inside. Thoughts can come and go. And the opposite direction. Seeing what you can achieve already here. Coming to a regular standing position again, you can bring the feet slightly closer together. And let's just circle the shoulders. Circling the shoulders backwards to start with. See if you can isolate the movement in the shoulders as much as possible. Allow the hands and the arms just to be heavy. And then the opposite direction, forwards with the shoulders. And then we're going to swing the arms. We're going to circle the arms at the elbows. Circling the arms at the elbows. Then moving in the opposite direction. Linking the fingers. And we're just going to circle through the wrists. This might feel like you're drawing a figure of 8 on its side. And then we can switch direction. Give the arms and the hands a shake out. Looking upwards, we're going to draw circles on the ceiling with our nose. Opposite direction. Allowing things to calm down. Good. Okay. And in this regular standing posture, notice how grounded you can be through the feet. A sense perhaps of the feet rooting deeply into the ground. Let go of the knees slightly. Relax through the knees. Relax the belly, the central channel. If you'd like to, you can close the eyes. Just starting to notice the natural breath. Allowing the awareness to gently ride on each in-breath and out-breath. Allowing everything else to arise and pass. Just noticing how the breath can cause movement in the chest. Perhaps noticing how the breath can cause movement as far down as the belly. Resting the awareness for a moment on breath moving the belly. And let's bring that awareness up to the crown of the head. Rest the awareness on the crown of the head for a moment. I'm going to imagine that the body is filled with sand. Allow a sense of the body being filled with sand. We're going to bring our awareness down through the body, and as we do so, we're going to allow that sand to start draining out. So bring the awareness down through the head, allowing the sand to drain out. Perhaps a sense of the sand draining through the fingers and down through the soles of the feet. Draining the sand from the head, the neck, the shoulders, draining through the arms, and out through the hands, draining the sand through the torso, the chest, sand draining out through the feet, through the chest, through the torso, through the belly, through the pelvis, allowing all this sand to move through the feet, through the pelvis and down through the upper parts of the legs, knees, the lower parts, down through the ankles, down through the feet, and follow the journey of the sand deeply into the ground. Noticing how the body feels now. Good. And we're going to start to bring a bit of movement and energy into the body. I'm going to do that by bringing the hands above the head, breathing in, and on an out breath, we bring the arms down and bend the knees. Standing up, breathing in, breathing out, swing. So you, in your own pace, your own breath. In breath comes through the nose, out breath comes through the mouth. Okay. So allowing everything to release and perhaps starting to develop a sense of energy moving in the body. One more time, and then stretching the hands up above the head. We're going to have a feeling of stretching through the hands, coming up onto tiptoes, stretching through the hands. And then we're going to drop through the feet, trying to keep the hands up. Good. And then we're going to be just doing some side bending to start with. So bending over to one side, seeing if you can allow the hips to move in the opposite direction. Bending to the other side. Natural breathing. Getting used to that side bend. And if you'd like to, coming back to the middle, and we can add the breath pattern. So breathing in, we bend, and we come up onto the tiptoes. Breathing out, we can drop through the feet. Breathing in, up onto tiptoes, the opposite side. And out. Good for the spine, good for the balance. A couple more times. Coming back to center, linking the fingers together, pushing up with the palms, and just turning through the body. And as we turn, just relaxing through the body. Letting go of tension. Now we're going to bring a stretch through the side of the body. We're going to keep one hand up, point the fingers up in the air, allow the other arm to just be loose and drop down by the side. Now see if you can have a sense of being pulled up through the wrist. Being pulled up through the wrist, and then look down at the opposite hand. And perhaps noticing how we can get a lovely stretch into this side of the body. The whole length of this side of the body. Okay, and then we'll windmill the arms out. And we're going to be switching sides, so pulling up through the wrist, dropping this arm down, relaxing it, looking down at that hand. So we can add the breath, so out breath we windmill, in breath. We're stretching through the wrist, out breath. In breath. Out breath. In breath. Out breath. In breath. A couple more times. This is a lovely movement to release the QL, the quadrus lumboris, an area that can get very tight at the lower back. Good. Let's bring the hands down, just give them a bit of a shake out. So I'm going to have the feet slightly wider. I'm bring one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. I'm going to try and keep the lower half of the body just facing forwards. I'm going to try and look forwards, keep the head looking forwards. I'm just going to try and move this central area. We're just trying to get some twisting motion into the spine. If we were to add the lower half of the body and perhaps use the knees. The twist would be coming through the knees. We want to avoid that. So trying to keep the movement. We're getting a sense that we're moving through the upper and lower hand in particular. Okay. Keeping that movement going. We're going to drop the hands. We're going to keep moving that chest and belly. Keep moving the chest and belly. And as we move a little bit faster, the hands and the arms, they're heavy, they're relaxed. They might get involved in this process. So they might start to swing out and then snap into the body. We're not trying to move from the arms and hands, we're trying to allow the arms and hands to come into the movement that's caused through the spine, through that chest and belly turning. Good. Constant bear, and if you like to, you can speed this up a little bit, allow it to become a bit more vigorous. You might like to feel like you can pulse the body closed as you come down to the side, and then open and then close to the other side. So kind of up and down, bouncing movement. Good. And then allow that to start to calm down. Don't allow it to stop entirely. We're going to be moving directly into our bear scratching. So as we start to allow that to calm down, when we get one hand behind the body, we're going to pick up the shoulder, pick up through the shoulder, bring that forwards, we're turning the body again, drop that shoulder down, the other hand is behind us, and we pick that arm up and we bring it forwards. So we're trying to move through the shoulders, trying to get this movement happening as much as possible in the shoulders. Try and allow the arms and the hands to just relax and be part of the movement. But allow all of the attention of movement, allow the awareness to be in the shoulder. See if you can get a sense of picking it up and dropping it. Picking it up and dropping it. Picking it up and dropping it. And starting to notice how that can make the shoulder blades. Picking up from the shoulder blades. Scratching the bear. It's like a bear scratching its back. And the teeth. Good. Start to allow that to settle down. Coming into a comfortable standing position. We're going to bring our hands out to the side. We're going to bend slightly through the knees. In breath, we bring the hands up. And then out breath, we come down in front of the body. So we're going to do 3 of these. That's our first one. And this second one, we're going to have a sense of bringing fresh energy up. Bringing fresh energy up. And then allowing that to wash through the body. And our third movement, we're going to have the intention to bring that fresh energy up. And then we're going to have a sense that we can lock it into the body, allow it to be absorbed into the body as we move the hands down. Good. So, Ba Duan Jin, the first part of the sequence, it's for the triple burner. We're going to have our regular standing position. Closer together tends to give more of a feeling of energy, further apart more of a feeling of balance. So go with whatever is calling to you. The hands are starting to come together, the fingers lock, the knees are slightly bent. I'm going to bring the hands up through the body, turn the hands around the level of the heart, turn and turn and turn them, push the hands up, look at the hands, and then look forwards. Allow the hands to drop out to the sides, come back slightly down through the knees. So adding the breath, breathing in, look forwards, breathing out, coming back down through the knees. Breathing in, Looking up and looking forward, breathing out. Coming back down through the knees. Good. And this first part of the sequence is meant to give a feeling of balance in the body. So perhaps you can tune in to any sense of the energy of the body balancing as you move the hands. One more time, breathing in. Energy filling the body, and a sense perhaps of relaxing as we release the breath. The next part of the movement is called pushing heaven and earth. We're going to do a simplified version, so we're going to bring the hands up towards the chest level. And then we're going to turn the palms of the hands, push them away from each other. Then we windmill the arms. After we get to this halfway point, we start to bring them back towards each other. And then we're pushing in the opposite direction. Pushing with the opposite hands. Good. We can have a slight bounce through the body as we do this. So this is opening up. This is slightly closing down. Opening up and closing down. So this is an in-breath. And this is an out-breath. In-breath. Out-breath. Good. Allowing thoughts to arise and pass. Just tuning into the breath and the movement. Perhaps a feeling of energy coming into the body. And then a sensation of the body relaxing down afterwards. One more side. Good. Bring the hands down in front of us. And we're going to do a simplified version now of the archer shooting a heavenly bow. So the simplified version is that we bring the hands and the arms together like this. And then we come out into our bow shape. We're going to be using an L shape with the fingers, okay? So we're coming out with our bow. So the bow starts to form with those fingers, and then we pull the string of the bow. Now, when we're doing this, we're looking through that front L shape. That's where we're firing the arrow. So we're kind of looking right into the distance, noticing how that makes the chest feel. And then we bring the hands back together again. And we simply move to the other side. Good. We can bring a slight bouncing motion into this as well. So this is standing up tall, and then we can bend through the knees as we come down. So we can stand up, and then we can bend through the knees slightly. So this is an in-breath, and this is an out-breath. Stare through that L shape. Breathing in, energy filling the body. Breathing out, relaxing the body. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time each side, breathing in, breathing out. Last side. Good. You can bring the hands, the backs of the hands together. And we're going to be bringing those hands down towards the floor. We're going to be bending through the knees, bending from the hips. And this movement is caused by the hands moving. So we start to rotate the hands outwards. That rotates the arms all the way up to the shoulders. We're standing up, getting a feeling that we're bending right into, rotating right into the shoulders. The chest will come forwards and we're looking back over one shoulder. And then we're rotating from the hands and coming back down again. And then we simply move to the other side. Feel the rotation come through the hands, up through the wrists, up through the arms, right there into the shoulders, and then look in the opposite direction. And then rotate in the opposite direction. So this rolls the back forwards, and then the other way rolls the chest forwards. So breathing in as we open up, looking over the shoulder, and then breathing out, coming back down again. As wise owl looks over its shoulder. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, feel that chest. Breathing out, rolling back. Breathing in, chest opens up. Breathing out, back rolls forwards. Good, a couple more times. Breathing in, breathing out. Other side, breathing in and breathing out. Good. So coming to our standing position. This one is called swinging the tail. We're going to have the feet as wide as is comfortable apart. So just play with that to start with. Where do you want to be? It's called swinging the tail, but it also employs a sense of breathing energy across in front of you, a bit like you might imagine that a dragon would breathe energy. The hands on the thighs, just above the knees. We start off by looking up in one direction. The opposite leg is straight. Direction we're looking in, the knee is bent. Okay? Deep breath in here, and then we exhale out all the way across the ground in front of us, and then come up to the other side and take a deep breath in. And while we're doing this, see if you can let go of the tailbone and have that sense of the tailbone swinging. We're swinging the tail to alleviate heart fire. It's one of the full terms. In your own time. It's quite energetic. If you feel this is making you a little bit dizzy, you might like to take less of a breath in and out. Good. A couple more times. Really allow the tailbone to let go. Last time. Good. And standing upright. So our next part of the form, it's a water chi movement. We're going to start with the arms above the head. And while we're here, we can have a sense of moving as if we're swimming through watery energy up here. I'm going to take this slowly and then we'll add the breath. The arms are going to swing down. As we do that, the knees bend, bending at the hips. The hands are going to come to the back, okay? And then we're going to rub into the back, lower back, or you can tap, rub or tap. We're going to be extending through the knees at that point, okay? Then we're going to bend through the knees and we're going to allow the backs of the hands to come down the backs of the legs. The fingers are going to go right the way around the toes. And then we bring the hands up the inside of the legs. Inside the legs, come to the belly and tap or rub the belly. Whatever feels good. Okay? So we'll try it first in one movement and then we'll add the breath. So the arms come up. We swing the arms, we're standing up through the knees, we're still bending through the hips, we're rubbing through the back, bring the hands down, we bend the knees, down the backs of the legs, trace round the toes, bring the hands up, the legs, the inside of the legs, tapping the right, bring into the belly. Okay? So, with the breath, breathing in, breathing out, swing the arms. Breathing in, straightening through the legs, rubbing the back. Breathing out, bend the knees, come down the backs of the legs. Breathing in, bring the hands up the inside of the legs. Breathing out, rubbing or tapping the belly. That's breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. A couple more times. Swing the arms. Rub the back. Bring the arms, the hands down the backs of the legs. Bring them up. Center of the legs, the inside of the legs rather, rubbing or tapping the belly. Last time. Okay, this penultimate part of the form, the legs are going to be further apart, feet are going to be further apart. Slight bend through the knees. We can have a sense of drawing energy up using our fists, either having the thumbs inside or outside the fingers, either is fine. So we bring that energy up, and then we're standing up tall, and then as we punch outwards, we rotate the fist. Rotate the fist, coming down through the knees slightly. Then we have a sense of bringing energy back in. So we turn that hand, that wrist, and have a feeling of bringing energy back in. And then we just move to the other side. So punching out, slightly down through the knees, and then bringing the energy back. And we can bring quite a vigorous breath to this. So as we punch out. As we punch out. So the idea is that in doing this, we're controlling anger. So we're not trying to have the most violent of fist coming forwards. We're trying to have a sense of using or controlling anger. Couple more times. We don't want to get you too angry. Good. Last side. Perhaps this time, just having a sense of being able to drop the energy slightly using the hand. Just allowing that to settle, to calm. And this last form of the 8 silk brocades, we're going to be dropping through the heels, but we're going to try and drop in a considered way. We don't want to chuck loads of weight through our heels and start risking our knees. We want to come down in a relaxed sort of way rather than pushing it. So we're going to be bending through the knees, bending at the waist again, however much you need through the knees. We're going to have a sense of swishing around with energy, and this sense of swishing the energy and then starting to bring it up. So bringing energy up, and we can come up right the way through tiptoes, and then we turn the hands and we gently drop through the heels. And we continue moving back down again. We swish and scoop that energy up. We keep going to tiptoes, we turn the hands, and then we drop. So with the breath, this is an out breath. This is an in breath. And then as we turn the hands, it's an out breath. But we continue that out breath all the way to the ground. Breathing in, scoop. Breathing out, drop. Starting to allow things to settle. Now a sense as if we drop, we're allowing all our last tensions to drop out through the heels. A couple more times. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last time, breathing in. Last drop. Seeing how that feels. Stepping the feet out a little wider. Turning the hands out. We're not going to be using the breath here, we're just having a normal pattern of breath. And we're starting to bring the hands up. And we're having a sense of bringing peaceful energy up above us. Peaceful energy, we bring that peaceful energy all the way up to the crown of the head, and then we drop it right the way through the body. Allowing the body to feel like it's being washed with peaceful energy. Seeing how that feels for you. Having a little shake of the body. There's actually a move called shaking tree, or shaking willow. Releasing any last tensions. We're going to make a fist with our dominant hand. We're going to bring the other hand over the top of it, and we're going to take 3 bows. Our first bow is thanking each other for sharing this practice. Our second bow is to our teachers, past, present and future, thanking them for passing on their knowledge. And our third bow is a bow to everyone who's given us life. So we're bowing to our parents, all our ancestors, perhaps bowing right the way back to a sense of the source of oneness. And there we are.